He comes and goes on a rainbow. Oh, my goodness, Michael Snyder, everybody. Hi, Michael Snyder. Hold on. Hi, Michael Snyder. Now you can be heard. Yeah.
Can I be heard? Okay, I can be heard.
There you go.
Hi, Mark. Hi, John. Kim in absentia. She's dealing with leftovers right now. I have no idea what the deal is. I assume everyone is out there looking for those Black Friday bargains, although that seems a little bit insensitive these days. Isn't it about time that we started calling it non-white Friday?
I see. I see what you did with the black. And it's just
By
it
the way,
refers to red and black. You
got
know
some
that.
inside dope on the Frasier reboot. I now know why Martin and Niles are not there. They're offended by Frasier's politics.
Remember, that could be too.
His new catchphrase is, "I'm Frasier Frayne, and I'm a conservative Republican apologist."
I'm listening to those on the right.
You know, Martin was a union guy.
That's right.
Niles was married to an immigrant.
That's
How
right.
could Frasier get along with them? Seriously.
Good point. Very good point. Did you used to watch Frasier, Michael Snyder?
I love the show, and I love the sort of drawing room comedy of it all. And I thought that David Hyde Pierce was absolute genius. He was the comedic linchpin. I mean, Jane Leaves and the rest of them, they were funny. Perry Gilpin, very, very funny. And good Lord, what a great straight man the late
Mahoney?
John Mahoney was. Oh, my God. But think about it for a second. Niles married someone from overseas. He couldn't possibly.
Niles, are you sure you want to do this? Roz is insistent.
Daphne. Roz was offended, too.
Roz is offended as well.
So we have so much to cover today. I want to get to it. It's a holiday weekend.
Do it, kid.
Lots of new movies.
Smash that like button like a boss for Michael Snyder. Go for it, kid.
Please do. I left a screening of Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery, with a goofy smile on my face. The movie, director and screenwriter Rian Johnson's sequel to his equally entertaining ensemble comedy Whodunit Knives Out, actually is a little funnier, smarter, and more cutting as it skewers the wealthy and vapid while reinventing the Agatha Christie mystery paradigm once more. Plus, there's even more screen time for the linchpin, speaking of linchpins, of what is now apparently a series, the unflappable Southern Fried Gentleman Detective Benoit Blanc, played by Daniel Craig.
Yeah, wild,
and played to
Paradigm is a dingler. Go ahead,
As I predicted when I saw Knives Out, Craig, who is the modern embodiment of the super spy James Bond, has found himself a new franchise. Is Glass Onion really a Knives Out mystery? Nay. It's a Benoit Blanc mystery and a blast as Craig delivers a delicious, witty performance that is oceans away from Bond. Okay, this time out, Blanc is invited to a private Grecian island getaway, and this place belongs to a tech billionaire named Miles Braun, played in smug, a smarmy style by Edward Norton. The other guests are members of Braun's inner circle, including Catherine Hahn as a U.S. Senator, Kate Hudson as a fashionista and party girl, David Bautista as a kind of a male empowerment guru, Leslie Odom Jr. from Hamilton playing a science whiz, and singer-actress Janelle Monáe as Braun's former business partner. The gathering is intended as one of those weekend murder mystery parties, you know, with the guests trying to find the killer responsible for, in this case, Braun's faux death, and then someone actually dies, and Blanc goes into action.
Wow.
They're incredibly cool. Blink and you'll miss them cameos and tasty Easter eggs, witty dialogue, sharp satire, and a fiendishly clever twists. Everyone in the cast slays, so to speak, led by Monet.
Oh my God.
This may be Hudson's best performance since Almost Famous, really.
Wow.
But it's Craig as Blanc. He's the center that holds it all together. Blanc seems set for a very long run with Craig and Johnson already developing a third movie in the series. I, for one, can't wait.
Somebody in the chat, Michael, is saying that the accent, there it is, Immortal Tiger said, I mean, his accent, really?
Wait. You don't like Foghorn Leghorn? Everybody loves Foghorn Leghorn. I say, I know the murderer.
I mean, in a way, I kind of am sympathetic to Craig, because if he just uses his regular British voice, I think it's hard for him to get away from the Bond
This is
profile?
fun because it's so over the top. I think that's part of the charm of it. It's Southern fried. It's not a real Southern accent. This is in theaters this week for 1 week only, and I really loved it on the big screen. But get ready. It's coming to Netflix on December 23rd when I shall watch it again.
That'll be
with
great.
Serious glee, I promise you.
Y'all can all go to hell, and I'm going back to Texas.
There we go.
All right.
Okay, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio is the masterful fantasy filmmaker's thoughtful, impassioned, visually stunning stop-motion animated version of the story, and it answers the question of how many new versions of Pinocchio do we need? I mean, counting the Disney remake from a couple months ago, we only need one, and it's Del Toro's, which, by the way, pays homage to the look of vintage images that accompanied Carlo Collodi's late 1800s book rather than the Disney version, which trotted out CGI versions of the designs from the classic Pinocchio cartoon in the 40s. But Del Toro's adaptation shifts the focus and the setting from the 1800s to a village in Italy. Are you ready? During World War II, when fascist dictator Benito Mussolini ruled the country and the townspeople were increasingly under the heel of his minions. Although this gives the project an astute, if overt, socio-political perspective, the heart of the tale remains the same as woodcutter Geppetto, mourning the loss of his flesh and blood son, fashions a puppet that comes alive due to the magical ministrations of a friendly fairy. In line with all interpretations, plucky talking cricket is he's basically tasked with keeping watch over the naive little wooden head. And the wooden head, of course, is given the name Pinocchio. These adventures...
Overt administrations. Thank you. Go ahead.
These adventures of Pinocchio parallel those of the source material, as Geppetto must undertake a dangerous quest to find his wayward progeny, while the historical context invites tweaks to the narrative by Del Toro and his co-screenwriter, Patrick McHale. They never feel gratuitous, and all of it is rendered on screen with such beauty and grace and fluidity, as directed by Del Toro in partnership with the veteran animator Mark Gustafson, that the characters have emotional impact comparable to what would be delivered by a live-action cast. Of course, none of this would fly without exceptional voice performances, and they are here throughout, led by the venerable British actor David Bradley as Geppetto.
Venerable.
Alongside usual leading man Ewan McGregor, who voices the cricket, and a kid actor, Gregory Mann, as Pinocchio, with starry support from Tilda Swinton, Kate Blanchett, Christoph Waltz, John Turturro, and so on. There are some decent new songs here, too. Look, dude, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio is movie magic. It is movie magic. And it's in theaters now and streaming on Netflix starting December 9th.
Wow. Wow. So 2 movies you really like so far.
Let's turn down the heat a little bit. From the font Disney uses in all the titles and promotional art for their latest animated feature, Strange World. By the way, all these things are kind of family, well, not Glass Onion, but we have a couple of family delights here. So, those of you with kids, pay attention. Don't, watch the adult stuff with them, but this works. The latest Disney animated feature after this Pinocchio abomination they just did, Strange World. It's clear they're going for an Indiana Jones vibe, and yes, Strange World is a colorful, creatively designed and rendered adventure depicting a quest that's undertaken by a family, the Clades, whose patriarch was famed explorer Jaeger Clade, and Jaeger went missing years ago while seeking literal new horizons. The current head of the family is the explorer's son, Searcher, who is a very successful farmer who discovered an energy-generating plant, and that transformed the sleepy world they lived in into a kind of hustling, bustling, high-tech mix of urban metropolis and verdant farmland. But this special plant is
Verdant's
dying.
a dang word.
The plant is dying, and the Clades, including Searcher's aviatrix wife, who's named Meridian, and their restless son, Ethan, are part of a crew that seeks a way to reverse the plant's degeneration, thus sending them on a journey into the unknown. What they find is a visual spectacle, the strange world of the title, populated by strange adversaries, and they also pick up some revelations that cause them to kind of reevaluate everything they ever thought about their lives. And despite some clever ideas and gorgeous vistas and freaky creatures, This is pretty much standard Disney family overcomes obstacles and, heals itself stuff, That said, it's a decent all ages entertainment with gratifying but easygoing representation and good voice work for the Clades, from Jake Gyllenhaal as Searcher to Dennis Quaid as Jaeger, Jabuki Young White as Ethan, and Gabrielle Union as Meridian. It's in theaters where it looks exceptionally good on the big screen, although it's destined for Disney Plus. I mean, is there even a question?
Right.
It's a coming, people.
But it might be a while.
Yeah, we'll see.
So that's 3 films in theaters, one headed soon to Netflix. That's Glass Onion.
Yeah.
What else do you have?
Okay. Like the Disney redo of Pinocchio. Oh, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm taking target practice on Disney. Disenchanted is another case of the Mouse House going back to a well once more. But it doesn't feel that much like Once Too Often, because this is a pleasant, lively to the point of cluttered continuation of 2007's Enchanted, revisiting the cartoon princess turned real-life woman Giselle, played once more by Amy Adams with, verve, innocence, and a relentless sweetness that is thankfully undercut by events in the movie, because too much of it, it's diabetes, frankly.
I see. But
Anyway.
they did get back from the original Enchanted. They ended up in this musical, right? Isn't that what it was?
The music has followed her from the cartoon world, and she busts into song, and there's dancing and what have you.
But didn't they wrap that up, button it out after the last one?
Yeah, it was a happily ever after situation, but this is 15 years later.
I see.
And her stepdaughter is now a sulky teenager. Her husband is kind of worn down by the grind of New York City, and they decide to move to a small town and find her kind of real world equivalent to fairy tale land.
Okay.
And it turns out that, be careful what you wish for. She shows up and in fact gets her hands on a wishing stick and wants everything to be like a fairy tale. And what she forgets is all the grim events one finds in fairy tales.
I get it, because of the grim. Yeah, I get it.
But, all the other actors and actresses who you liked in the first movie, well, the 4 central ones, which include her, Idina Menzel, James Marsden, and, of course, Patrick Dempsey as her boyfriend, who becomes her husband. They're all back, which is great. And the songwriters, Stephen Schwartz and Alan Menken, the great Alan Menken, are back as well. The songs are just not quite as good. And this thing has kind of in the universe weirdness. It still tries to turn fairy tale tropes inside out. The better musical numbers in the previous film, and we've kind of been here before. I would just say with the talent involved and an accomplished director of contemporary movie musicals, Alan Shankman at the helm, this is a measure of fun for the fans. So you want to revisit these people, these characters, check it out. But,
it's a bit disappointing, you're saying.
A little disappointing. Maya Rudolph gets off some good stuff as sort of the mean girl queen bee in this small town that starts to torment Giselle's, the character by Amy Adams. Anyway, it's on Disney Plus, so you don't have to travel very far to see it. We have better things to discuss after Disenchanted, and I want to get to this because I think it's an important film and a good film. It's called Devotion. Jonathan Majors, who started his career with a bang, kind of, by starring in HBO's challenging science fiction social commentary mashup Lovecraft Country, and is poised to take over the Marvel Cinematic Universe as its biggest of bads, Kang the Conqueror. He flexes his considerable dramatic muscle as the central figure in Devotion. This is a no-nonsense mix of film biography and historical drama based on the exploits of Jesse Brown, and his friendship with Lieutenant Tom Hudner. They were 2 dedicated U.S. Navy pilots from radically different backgrounds who nonetheless bonded while flying dangerous missions in the Korean War that have serious impact on the tides of battle. Brown, played by Majors, is an ensign and a rarity in that time, the early 1950s. He was a black American fighter pilot. Hudnall, played by square-jawed Top Gun Maverick cast member Glenn Powell, is a white officer from comparative privilege, but military comradeship during wartime and skill in the cockpit while under fire turn out to be great equalizers. And speaking of Top Gun Maverick, which glorified stylized joyride, feels kind of like macho pulp piffle, Devotion has some serious meat to it. And again, it has this historical context. And along with illustrating bravery amid the perils of war and offering aerial thrills and chills, it addresses the valor that was required in the struggle for racial equality. I mean, this is got some real meat to it. It's directed by J.D. Dillard. It's a solid and uplifting piece of filmmaking, and Majors is major. Devotion is in theaters right now.
Jeez, you like that?
I did.
Wow. This has been a very, very positive visit thus far. Yeah, I think you've got time for one more.
I do. And, you know, honestly, this is not for you in any way, shape, or form, Mark. So
this is a horror thing, something tortured?
Well, not so much. Let me get to it.
All right.
Bones and All is the latest from the excellent Italian director Luca Guadagnino, whose previous movie was Call Me By My Name, an award-winning interpersonal drama that kind of accelerated the acting career of Timothée Chalamet, and whose A Bigger Splash is in my personal all-time top 30. If you can seek out A Bigger Splash, it's like a Patricia Highsmith novel brought to the screen, although she did not write the source material. As for Bones and All, it's the story of star-crossed young love without any kind of how can I put this? Without any kind of restraint, because it's about a hidden subgenus of humanity with very specific and taboo tastes.
Oh my God, I can tell I'm going to hate this.
You are. I don't want to spoil it, but did you ever see the classic Little Rascal short, The Kid from Borneo? That had the deathless line, "Yum yum, eat 'em up."
No,
anyway,
no. Oh,
despite how sensationalistic,
is it cannibalism? What is it?
Did you use the C word?
I mean, I'm just Michael. I want to hear more about this. I've got Steve waiting, but please finish. Round this out.
Okay, despite how sensationalistic and potentially shocking and stomach turning it can be, Bones and All is beautifully shot, thoughtfully written. It's an adaptation of a well-regarded novel and elegantly directed by Guadagnino. By the way, sensitively acted by the young leads, including Chalamet, and his leading lady, Taylor Russell, delivers fascinating, nuanced performances as seemingly ordinary heartland American kids share dark predilections. And extra value in the form of the superb veteran actor Mark Rylance, who is gobbling up every scene he's in.
Okay, so they're eating each other. You've got to, I mean, what a cast. But it's about cannibalism? Is that what it's about?
Maybe.
Bones and All, and you don't want to say what it is, and you know it's going to gross me out.
You know, it has a lot of bite. I will say it has a lot of bite.
Oh, my God.
Can you let him finish? Sir?
He is finished. Okay, he's finished. All right, now listen, quickly running down the Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. Funnier, Michael says, than the original, than the one that preceded it. This is sort of a sequel to Daniel Craig offering. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, which is in theaters. By the way, the Glass Onion is in theaters, but it'll be on Netflix the 23rd, I think you said, of next
December
month.
23rd.
Yeah,
yes.
December 23rd. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio is in theaters. He likes it a lot. He feels that del Toro has just sort of reimagined both the setting and the... go ahead. You can...
No, and it'll be available on Netflix in about a week and a half.
Oh, that's great. Strange World, which is the Indiana Jones vibe with the explorer. That's
it's okay. It's solid family entertainment.
Strange World, that's in theaters. Disenchanted, a bit disappointing. It's the sequel 15 years later now from Enchanted.
Yes.
And its music's not as good, but it's on Disney Plus and you might enjoy it. Devotion is the Jonathan Majors star vehicle. It's solid and uplifting, you said. You really liked it.
And with a true historical context.
And where can people see Devotion, that movie?
A place called The Theater.
Okay, and Bones and All, which is the Luca Guadagnino...
Luca Guadagnino, yeah.
Luca Guadagnino number.
It's a kinky love story.
Star-crossed young love and kinky. Now you make me want to see it, but I think I would be grossed out, wouldn't I?
You would definitely be grossed out.
All right. Go Niners. Love you, Michael. He comes
I got you.
On a rainbow. Bye-bye, Michael.
Bye, everybody.
All right.